Let's go ahead and get started. I just want to remind everybody that this class and me, I am just a suggestion for you. And please do anything that makes your body feel good, move in any way that makes your body feel good. And also remember that you're in charge of your own body, and I can't feel your body. So if something we're doing is not feeling right in your body, please modify, adjust, stop doing what you're doing, especially since this is over Zoom. Just take care of yourself. All right, let's go ahead and bring our hands together in front of our heart. I thank you for showing up to practice with me. Thank yourself for showing up, practicing some self-care. If setting an intention for your practice feels right to you, this is a good time to do that. Let's just begin by putting one hand on our heart and one hand on our stomach. And we're going to take 3 nice, big, deep breaths to really just drop in and also connect our mind, body, and our breath. So inhale deeply. Exhaling any tension that we may be carrying out. And one last time. And then you can just go ahead and gently release your hands. We're going to begin with some neck movements, do a little warm up before we begin. So we're going to inhale and make sure we're sitting up nice and tall. Our spine is long. And as we exhale, we're going to drop our head forward, stretching the back of our neck. And then inhaling as we shift to look up, and exhaling. Inhaling to shift again, to look down, and exhaling in position. Inhaling back to look up. One last time, inhaling as we move, exhaling in position, looking down, stretching the back of our neck. And then inhaling to look up, stretching the front of our neck, exhaling as we are in position. And then inhaling back up to a neutral spine. Now we're going to look to the left and to the right. So we're going to inhale as we look over our left shoulder and exhale as we're gently looking that way. And then inhale as we shift over to the right. And exhaling as we look over our right shoulder. We'll do that 2 more times. One last time as we inhale to look over our right shoulder and exhaling as we're looking over our right shoulder. And then inhaling back to neutral. Now we're going to tilt our ear to our shoulder. So again, making sure we're sitting up tall, inhaling, then exhaling as we push our left ear towards our left shoulder gently. We're going to feel a stretch along the right side of our neck. Not forcing anything, just gently warming everything up. Inhaling to move over to the right side. Exhaling as we tilt our right ear towards our right shoulder. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling as we move back to the left. And the last time, inhaling as we move to the right, and then exhaling as we tilt our right ear towards our right shoulder. And then inhaling our head back up to neutral. Now we're going to do some neck rolls. So we're just going to breathe normally here as we drop our head to the forward, front, to a side, back, side, forward. Doesn't matter which direction you started. We're going to go both ways. Go ahead and complete that roll you're in reverse direction. And then go ahead and complete the circle that you're in. And we'll return our neck to neutral. Now we're going to do some shoulder warm-ups. So the first one we're going to do is for the back of our shoulders. So we're going to take our right arm, we're going to bring it out straight across our body. We're going to catch it with our left arm by bending our left arm around and making sure we're not catching ourselves on our wrist or on our elbow. As we inhale, we're sitting up tall, we're straightening our right arm. And as we exhale, we're pulling that right arm closer to our body with our left arm. We'll stay here for a breath or two. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So bringing your left arm out straight in front of you, bringing your right arm around it. Again, being mindful of where we catch it. We're somewhere on our forearm, not on any of our joints. Inhaling up tall, straightening the left arm, and then exhaling as we pull the left arm with our right arm closer to our body. We'll stay here for a couple breaths, feeling a nice opening in the back of our shoulder, maybe a little bit into your back. And then just go ahead and release that. Maybe shake that out a little bit if that feels good. Now we're going to do a tricep stretch. So I want you to take your left arm straight up over your head, and then you're going to bend your arm like you're patting yourself on your back. Go ahead and pat yourself on your back. You showed up for yoga this morning. Now we're going to bring our right arm across the top of our head. Our head's going to be cradled in between. We're going to inhale again, sitting up straight and tall. And then as we exhale, we're going to gently pull the left arm with our right hand closer to our head, feeling a nice stretch along the back side of our arm, triceps. We're going to go ahead and switch. You can just go ahead and leave your arms up, just making sure you're kind of patting yourself on the back, and you're going to grab your right arm with your left hand, sitting up tall as we inhale, and then exhaling as we gently pull that right arm closer to our head with our left hand. Stay here for a couple breaths. And then go ahead and release your hands down. I'll turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing with this next one. We're going to grab our hands. We're going to clasp them if that's available to you. Maybe you're just grabbing your hands. We're going to straighten our arms as we inhale. And then as we exhale to the best of our ability, we're going to slowly lift our arms up, being very gentle with your shoulders here, never moving to the point of pain. Stay here for a couple breaths. This is a great front of the shoulder opener. And then go ahead and release that. Okay, next we're going to do some shoulder shrugs. So as we inhale, we're going to pull our shoulders up, tight. And then as we exhale, we're going to let them drop real heavy. So inhale, tight. And then exhale. Do that one more time. Great. Now we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So same as with the neck, we're going to go both ways. So whichever way you start is fine. So you're going to come up, back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward. Maybe you started the other way. That's okay. Just breathing normally. Getting our shoulders warmed up. We're going to be using them a little bit today. Okay, well, quite a bit. Reverse. And go ahead and finish up on the roll that you're on. Just bring your hands back down for a minute. And now we're going to do some wrist rolls. So you're just gently going to bring your hands up in front of your body. We're just going to slowly warm those wrists up a little bit by turning them in one direction. And then reverse. And finish up your roll that you're on. Bring your hands back down to your knees. And now we're going to move into a tabletop position. So if you were sitting up on something in the beginning, go ahead and move that out. And we're going to come into all fours. So this looks kind of like this. We're going to make sure that our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Our knees are underneath our hips. We're going to have our back in a neutral position. Spreading the fingertips just a little bit, maybe applying some pressure onto those fingertips. That helps ease the weight and the tension on the wrist. If your wrists are really bad, you can also come into this position and be on your forearms, just again, being mindful of your alignment, that your elbows are below your shoulders. You can move into that position anytime if this gets to be too much. Again, taking care of your own body. So as we inhale, we're just going to make sure our spine is nice and long, neutral position. And then as we exhale, we're going to curve our back, letting our head drop down and our tailbone drop down, exhaling in that position. And then as we inhale, we're going to shift all that. So we're going to drop our belly, lift our heart and our head, lifting our tailbone. And then exhaling again, going back into our cat. Really rounding our back, bringing our belly button into our spine, dropping our head, nice stretch, opening up the whole back of the spine. As we inhale, shifting, dropping the belly, lifting the head and the tail. Go ahead and do that a couple more times at your own pace. And when you've completed your round, just go ahead and return back to a neutral spine in your tabletop position. The next thing we're going to do is called wag the tail. So you're going to do an inhale as you slowly are looking over your left shoulder back towards your left foot, feeling a nice stretch alongside your right side body. Exhaling as we're looking back that way. And then inhaling as we shift over to the right, looking over our right shoulder, back towards our right foot, and exhaling, nice stretch along the left side body. We'll do that a couple more times. And then returning back to neutral. Now we're going to do a little calf stretch. So we're going to take our right leg as we inhale. We're going to put our leg out straight behind us, landing on our toes, keeping our muscles taut, really firming up your leg, and then pushing through your heel as you exhale to really get a nice stretch in the whole back of your right leg. We'll stay here for a breath or two. And then returning that leg back down to your tabletop position. We're going to do the same thing with the left leg. So as we inhale, we're going to reach our left leg behind us straight, land on our toes. And then as we exhale, we're going to push through that back heel. Oh, that feels so good. Lovely calf stretch mostly, but you may fill this up into your hamstrings a little bit. And And then go ahead and return that knee back down to your tabletop position. And we're going to do some hip circles. So this kind of looks different for everybody, just depending on the flexibility of your hips. But just like we did with our neck and our shoulders, we're going to come forward, go to the side, come back, go to the side. We will be going in both directions. So whichever way you started is perfectly fine. Just breathing normal, really just waking up those hips. And then go ahead and finish up your circle that you're in reverse directions. And then go ahead and finish up the circle that you're in, return to your tabletop position. We're going to be moving into our first downward dog of the day. So as you finish up your hip circles, you're going to tuck your toes under, you're going to lift your knees up, and you're going to lift your hips up and back to push up into your first downward dog. Maybe pedal those feet out a little bit. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale into your downward dog. Stay there for a breath. And then we're going to move into a low lunge. So I want you to lift your right leg up and back and then bend your knee as you crunch it through and place it between your hands. You're going to drop your left knee down, uncurl your left legs. Inhale as you bring your hands up to your knee, right hand on your knee and left hand on top of it. And then exhale as you slowly just let your hips sink forward for a nice stretch and opening along the left side of your leg, your hip flexors. On your next inhale, I want you to really push that knee away, pushing yourself up straighter, creating some space between your hips and your ribs. And then as you exhale, just sinking a little bit deeper into that pose. Now you can stay here, or if you feel like you have a little bit more to give, on your next inhale, you can go ahead and lift your hands up. Maybe look up if that feels good to you in your neck. And stay there for a breath. If you had your hands up, go ahead and return them back down to your knee. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and return your hands back down to the mat. Shift your foot back up into your downward dog. We'll stay there for a breath. We're going to do the same thing on the left-hand side. So you're going to lift your left leg up and back, bend your knee, bringing it through, placing it between your hands, dropping your right knee down, uncurling your right toes, left hand on your knee, right hand on your knee, exhaling, letting those hips come forward, nice hip flexor opener. And then same thing as we did on the other side. On your next inhale, you're going to really straighten your arms and push that knee away, really getting your spine nice and long. And then as you exhale, sinking forward a little bit more, you should feel that stretch a little bit deeper. And then if you need to, you can stay here. Or if you want to go ahead and on your next inhale, lift your hands up, looking up or not. If that doesn't feel good to your neck, you can keep just looking straight forward. And then if you had your hands up, go ahead and bringing them back down to your knee. And then on your next inhale, we're going to go ahead and come back down onto the mat with our hands, bringing our foot back, popping back up into our downward dog. We'll stay here for a breath. Now we're going to roll into a plank and then back into downward dog 3 times. So as you inhale, you're going to come up on your toes, push forward into your plank position, and you'll stay there for an exhale, actually for a breath. And then on your next inhale, you're going to push back into your downward dog. Exhale into your downward dog. Inhaling up on your toes, forward into your plank. Exhaling, staying for a breath. Inhaling back and exhaling in your downward dog. We're going to do that one more time. Inhaling forward into your plank. Exhaling, staying for a breath. And then inhaling back into your downward dog. Exhaling, we'll stay in your dog for a breath. And then we're going to move into a high lunge. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the low lunge. We're going to lift our right leg up and back. Bending your leg. Bringing it through. This time you're going to keep your back leg up and firm. If you feel a little wobbly, move your back foot out wider a little bit. That helps. On your next inhale, really pushing down through your feet to rise up into your high lunge. You can go ahead and put your hands on your hip for a breath. Make sure you're stable. You can stay here if you need to. Or on your next inhale, if it feels right, go ahead and lift your hands up above your head. Looking up if that feels good to your neck. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring your hands back down to your hip. We're going to move into a twist in our high lunge. So I want you to take your left hand, you're going to place it down by your right foot as you inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to lift your right arm up into a T, twisting in your high lunge. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring your hand back down, shift your foot back, and exhale into your downward dog. We'll stay here for a breath. And then we're going to repeat that same thing on the left-hand side. So we're going to bring our left leg up and back, bending our knee, bringing it forward, keeping the back leg taut. Again, bringing your right foot out a little bit if you need to for stability. Once you feel like you're pretty good, inhale to rise up, hands to the hip. Exhale here, making sure we're comfortable and stable. And then on your next inhale, you can go ahead and rise your hands up, looking up if that feels good. If not, keep your look forward. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. And if you had your hands up, go ahead and return them down to your hips. We're going to move into that twist on this side. So as you inhale, you're going to place your right hand on the floor next to your foot. And then as you exhale, you're going to twist your left arm up into a T shape. We'll stay here for a couple breaths in the high lunge twist. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and return that left hand down to the mat, swing your foot back, and exhale into your downward dog. We'll stay here for a breath. We're going to lift our right leg up and back, bending our leg, bringing it through. This time we're going to move up into a warrior two. So you're going to take your back foot, put it on the mat parallel to the short edge of your mat, and really pushing down through your feet as you inhale to rise up. Exhaling in the position, just taking a minute to make sure that your alignment is good. You really want your the back of your foot to be in alignment with the arch of your back foot. Then as we inhale, preparing to bring our hands out into a T, exhaling down into our warrior two, bending that front leg, really reaching your arms out, reaching, gazing out over your right fingertips. Stay here for a breath. And then on your next inhale, you're going to drop your left hand down to your left leg as you bring your right hand up over your head. Reverse warrior. Really reaching with that right hand and fingertips. Nice side opener. Inhaling back into your warrior two. Exhaling as you windmill your hands back down to the mat, bring your foot back, downward dog. Stay there for a breath, and then we will repeat the same thing on the left-hand side. So we're gonna lift our left leg up and back, bending your leg, bringing it through, placing the right foot parallel to the back edge of the mat, and inhaling as we really push down through our feet to rise up. Exhaling, just taking a minute to make sure we're stable and our alignment's all good. And then on your next inhale, bring your hands up, preparing to move out into your warrior two. On your next inhale, you're going to drop your right hand to your right leg as you bring your left hand up over your head, really reaching through those left fingertips. Reverse warrior. Great side body stretch. Making sure we're breathing, not shallow breaths, letting our body know it's safe. On your next inhale, go ahead and windmill your hands down. Exhale as you bring your leg back into your downward dog. We'll stay here for a breath. And lift your right leg up and back, bringing it through. You're gonna move up into the warrior two position. Inhaling as we lift up. But this time, instead of doing warrior two, we're gonna do a side angle. So we're gonna prepare for side angle by bending our right arm. And then as we exhale, we will be bending that leg deeper. We're gonna lay our right hand on our right leg and bring our left hand up over our head, really reaching through those left fingertips like you're stretching from the outside of that left foot all the way to those fingertips. Side angle. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. And then on your next inhale, I want you to swing that arm down and straighten that front leg. We're preparing to move into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So inhale your hands up, exhale them out into a T shape, shifting your body forward to the right. You're gonna tilt your T shape down, catching yourself on your shin, maybe on your ankles. Some people can go onto the floor, just never on the knee, please. And we will stay here for a couple breaths, really focusing on pushing your feet down and away from each other so we're not just hanging in our joints here, and really trying to create some space between our hips and our ribs. And then on our next inhale, we're gonna really push down through our feet to swing our T-shape back up. Place your hands on your hips, and we're gonna switch to the other side. So we're just gonna swing our right foot in. So now we're standing with both of our feet parallel. And then now we're gonna shift the left foot out. And we're gonna prepare for side angle on this side. So again, we're gonna inhale, making sure our spine's up nice and long. We're gonna prepare our left arm to land on our left leg. As we exhale, we're gonna bend that left leg. Left arm's gonna go onto the leg, swinging our right arm up over our head, really reaching through those fingertips, creating a nice line between the outside of that right foot and the tips of those right fingertips. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and swing that arm down, straighten that front leg, preparing for triangle pose on this side. So inhale your hands up, exhale your arms out straight into a T, shifting your upper body to the left. And then as you exhale, tilting your T shape down, catching yourself on your shin, ankle, floor. And same thing as the other side, really pushing down and away with your feet. So we're not just hanging in our joints here. And really imagine creating some space between your ribs and your hips. And at the same time, really reaching away with both of your arms. And then on your next inhale, pushing down through your feet to bring yourself back up. We're going to turn that left foot back in. Bring our hands together in a prayer pose. If you set an intention this morning, this is a great time to remember your intention. Inhaling as we lift our hands up above our head, reaching, 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 reaching. And then exhaling as we forward fold, bending at the hips, hinging at the hips. Ah, nice deep breath in your forward fold. Inhaling as we place our hands on the floor, straightening our spine. And then exhaling again into the forward fold, a little deeper this time. We'll do that one more time, hands on the floor. Inhaling, really lengthening and making sure our spine is nice and long out of our hips. And then as we exhale, forward fold. And then go ahead and place your hands back on the ground in front of you. We're going to heel toe in. And then inhaling, you can put your hands on your shins. We're going to do the same thing we just did in the wide forward fold and a regular forward fold. So inhaling as we lengthen our spine, and then exhaling into your regular forward fold. Stay here for a couple breaths. And on our next inhale, we're going to push down through our feet as we do a reverse swan dive, lifting our hands up, 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 up to the sky. So grateful for this day. Placing our hands together, bringing them down in front of our heart. So grateful for our practice. And then go ahead and drop your hands down to your sides. We're going to move into mountain pose, Tadasana. So really feeling your feet on the mat and the ground beneath us and how we are so supported by the earth. Maybe even just imagining your energy going out the bottom of your feet, down into the center of the earth, wrapping around the core of the earth. Just grounded and stable. And then your fingertips are pointing down to the ground and connecting, and you're lifting at the same time from the top of your head, getting your spine long, connecting with the sky. Great, just go ahead and shake that out. I'm going to do a little balance pose. We're going to do a little tree pose before we move on to the mat. So with your feet nice and grounded, just like they were, you're going to bring your right foot up. Now for some of us, we may need to leave our foot on the floor. Balance comes and goes, and it's something that does have to be practiced. And even when you're an expert, some days it's just not there. So your knee's going to be turned out. You're going to land your foot either on your shin. So people can come up here. I cannot. Oh, maybe we can try it today. We'll try. Okay, here we are. And then I like to bring my hands together, really kind of pushing together everything to midline. And sometimes it's great to just focus on something off in the distance, not too far off in the distance, but that helps with balance. Closing your eyes will definitely make this more difficult. If you fall out, just come back. We won't be here too long. And then go ahead and release out of that. Maybe shake your legs out just a little bit. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, really grounding down with your feet and then slowly shifting your weight onto that right foot, preparing to balance on that leg, turning the left knee out. If you need to leave your toes on the ground, perfectly fine. Maybe bring your knee up, you're landing your foot on your calf. Or let's see if I can do this on this side. Oh, this side feels a little bit more shaky. You will notice that, I'm sure with everything, the two sides are often different with stretching and everything. Okay. And then just breathe, being gentle with yourself. If you fall out, just come back in. Like I said, balance comes and goes. It's also a little bit more difficult when you're on a soft surface. Like I'm on carpet and I also have 2 mats. So when things are a little squishier, it's a little harder to balance. I'm going to just go down. I'm going to go down to try to stay on this side. There we go. Just remembering long, deep breaths tell our nervous system that everything is okay. We are safe. When we shallow breathe, we're sending a message. Breath is everything to your nervous system. And when we shallow breathe, we're basically telling our nervous system that something is not right. So just be mindful of that even in your daily life, noticing, how am I breathing right now? If you're breathing shallow, you're basically telling your nervous system that it needs to be in fight or flight. Something's not right and I'm scared. Okay, good job. Go ahead and shake that out. Now we're going to move on to our back. So go ahead and get down onto your mat on your back. This is always my favorite part of yoga class. And we're going to move into a bridge before we do some stretches. So knees are going to be hip width apart. Arms are just on the mat next to your hips. And as you inhale, you're going to slowly rise up, pushing down through your heels. Maybe you do this on an exhale. It's kind of different for everybody. And then you're going to just rise up, continuing to push down through your heels. And then if it's available to you, you can clasp your hands underneath you, bringing your shoulder blades even closer together. Continuing to push down through your heels, feel the energy going out through your knees. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. If you had your hands clasped underneath you, go ahead and release that. And then slowly come down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Great. Bring the soles of your feet together. Allow your knees to fall out. Placing your hands on top of your stomach. And then go ahead and bring your knees back up into a bent knee position. We're going to move into some windshield wipers. So I want you to actually bring your knees or your feet out just a little bit wider than your knees. And then we're going to inhale as we let them fall. Your knees fall to one side, and then exhaling as you're in that position. Inhaling as you shift your knees over to the other side, and then exhaling. Start to wind down, do some stretches. Inhaling as we shift back. And then go ahead and inhale your knees back up. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit, and then go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. You bring in your hands onto your shins. Pulling your knees in a little bit more for a nice lower back stretch if that feels good. Maybe it feels good to roll side to side a little bit. Whatever feels good to your body. And then go ahead and just return yourself back to your neutral spine, laying on your back with your knees up above you, pulled in. We're gonna let go of the right leg. We're gonna let that go out straight, really flatten out on the mat. And then as we inhale, we're gonna grab gently with our right hand, our left knee, and we're gonna just guide that over our body for a straight leg stretch. Your left arm's going to go out straight in a T shape. Your right hand is literally just gently laying on that left knee. You're not pushing yourself into a deeper stretch. We'll just stay here for a couple breaths. Twists are so good for our internal organs and our spine. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and roll back onto your back. Go ahead and put that left foot onto the floor. You're going to bring your right knee into your chest. You're going to let that left leg go out straight. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So you're going to inhale. As you bring your left hand over to your right knees, just gently rolling that right knee over your body. Right arm's going to go out straight in a T shape. Left hand is gently laying on that knee. You can look over to the right if that feels good. It brings your twist a little bit deeper. We'll just stay here for a couple breaths. And then on your next inhale, just go ahead, roll onto your back again. Bring your right foot onto the mat. Bring your left foot up to match it. So now you're laying with both of your knees up. And we're going to take our right ankle and we're going to put that over our left knee. We're going to flex our right foot. So that's pulling it towards your shin. Pushing that right knee away muscularly, not with your hands. And for some of us, this may be enough. This is a really great stretch for the outside of your hips. And a lot of us have very tight IT bands on the outside of our hips. If you feel like you want to go ahead and lift your leg, you can lift your leg and either grab yourself behind, lifting your left leg, grabbing yourself behind the thigh or on top of the shin, and then gently continuing to pull that left leg towards you to deepen that stretch. Being mindful to keep that right foot flexed while you're doing that. And making sure that our breath is not getting shallow. That's always kind of your check-in when you're doing poses. If your breath has gotten shallow, it's too much and you need to back off because again, that's telling your nervous system something's wrong. And then go ahead and lower that leg back down. Bring your right foot back down to the mat. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. So bringing your left ankle over your right knee, flexing your left foot, pushing that knee away to the best of your ability. And again, this may be plenty for you. You're probably going to notice a difference between the two sides. And then if you want, you can go ahead and lift that right leg, catching yourself behind the thigh, on top of your shin, never the knee. And gently pull that right leg in towards you to deepen that stretch, being mindful to keep that left foot flexed. We'll just stay here for a couple breaths. If you had your leg up, go ahead and lower that foot back down. Bring your left foot back down onto the mat. Let's pull those knees into the chest one more time. Maybe rocking side to side a little bit if that feels good. And then we're going to move into a happy baby. So with your knees pulled into your chest, you're just going to bring your feet up, flex your feet, grab your feet on the outside. And then you want to slowly just push your legs down, straight down. So making sure that, you know, your feet and your knees are in alignment and you're pushing down. And when it feels ready for you, go ahead and just release your feet, release out of that pose. We're going to move into Shavasana, our last pose of the day. So just let your legs go out straight. Your hands can gently rest beside you. Maybe your feet fall out. Maybe you want to cover yourself with a blanket if that feels good. You can use an eye pillow. We're going to be here for a few minutes. I know this is kind of the pose where people like to check out, like, I don't need this pose. And this pose is so important. It just really allows your body time to integrate all that beautiful work we just did. I want you to just relax and allow yourself a few minutes of rest. I will call you back when it's time to come up. And please stay where you are. I'm going to read one of my favorite poems. This is by Sapphire Rose, and it's called She Let Go. She let go. She let go without a word or a thought. She let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of all the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around her when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore. So I just invite you to slowly start taking notice of your breath again. Slowly coming back to the room. Maybe wiggling your fingers and toes. Circling your wrists and ankles if that feels good. Maybe stretching overhead. And rolling onto one side into embryo position, pulling your knees up into your chest a little bit, creating a pillow with your head or your head. Pillow of your hands for your head. And just stay there for a breath or two before you use your outside hand to slowly push yourself back up into a seated position. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart in the prayer position. And I thank you for showing up and practicing with me today. I'm honored. Thank yourself for showing up and practicing self-care. If you set an intention, this is a great time to remember that intention. And I like to seal my practice with the sound of an Om. Please feel free to join me. Inhale. Namaste. May you have a beautiful day.